So we ride up to the top floor, falling more in love.
That guitar, that music hits you in college, you fall in love with it. When did it become where you got that first big break for yourself, that you started playing and touring and recording albums?
Well, I think I'm going to answer that the truest way, which is kind of a little off the question.
Sure.
It wasn't a big break in terms of like industry stuff,
Yeah.
but the thing that made music possible for me was being really moved by musicians who held their music with dignity regardless of how the world perceived it. And to me, that was musicians who either had gotten a taste of success and decided they needed to keep their music safe, or it was musicians who, for one reason or another, just decided the music was somehow too sacred. And so I would hear these people, and my first response was, oh my goodness, everyone should hear this. And my second response was, why do I need everyone to hear it for me to know that it's really good? That's the natural response, you know, to imagine that I'm just at the start of some new musical trend, you know, and I get to sort of hear it as it first appears.
Sure.
And yet there was something more interesting to me about, you know, there are songs that are still ungoogleable. You know what I mean? There are songs that I can hear it in my head, and there is no recording.
Right.
And the person who did it is gone.
Yeah.
And you know that's fascinating to me, that there is music that can be lost.
Yes.
And so it just made me listen really hard, because I was in a setting where I was thinking to myself, oh, I will never hear this again, and I need to remember it as well as I can right now.
Yeah.
And so to me, that put music in a whole new kind of framework. It made it a way of savoring the present tense instead of always making a record, a recording, a remembering of the past. This was really honing my ability to listen right now.
Yeah.
And so that was a fascinating change for me. And so I started, like, I couldn't walk past a street musician. I would be, you know, in whatever town, Dublin, and I'd be walking with some friends, and then, where's Dave? You know, it's like, oh, did he stop at that street musician? Well, of course he did. You can't walk past a street musician.
Right.
You know, so they would walk back and find me, and I'd be like just listening so hard, and they'd say, come on, let's go. Yeah. And I'd say, this will never happen again. I need to hear one more song, you know. And so it was such a great lesson for me to imagine that music for me could be kind of my path, not just kind of something I like to do, not just a thing that I make, not just trying to make another widget for the industry, but really it could be how I tune my life. It could be how I come alive. Yeah. And the reason why I say it could do all that is because I love it so much. I'm willing to spend the time to discern the subtle differences between a pretty good line and a really good line as I'm writing a song. And so gradually I can craft a song that is truer than I know, that holds a wisdom that I haven't even arrived at yet. And I do it just by, each time there's a musical idea or a lyrical idea, instead of holding it up to my clever mind and saying, you know, is this good? I hold it up to my heart and I say, how will this change me? You know, I feel what effect does this have on the way I see the world, on the way I feel about life?